Break out the carrot sticks and natural yogurt, no artificial hormones added. It's time for the Doctor's Nutrition Show. Dr. Lewis and Janet have a long history of helping people achieve their maximum potential. While Janet is a certified natural health consultant with a unique perspective of alternative and complementary nutrition, Dr. Lewis stays current on the latest research pertaining to nutritional supplements and optimum health. Paramount to their educational journey was their trip to China while studying Chinese medical doctors. Dr. Lewis and Janet know the importance of proper nutrition in the healing process and maintenance of the human body. Get ready to gain a healthy perspective on life. This is the Doctor's Nutrition Show.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And we are Doctors Nutrition of Texas, where we help you with your nutritional solutions for your common health issues. We are located on our website at acutabovenaturals.com, and there you can find all of our interesting topics we've had in the past, including the one that we're having today on different kinds of oils, like fats, the good, bad, or ugly, fish oils, MCT oil, coconut oil, flax oil, krill oil. Dr. Lewis is going to shake it up and break it down.
Yeah, Pennzoil, Quaker State,
And he's going to help us determine which oils are good for what things, and are the fish oil that you're taking any good. He's actually going to tell you about an exciting new test that we have to determine if what you're taking is good on lab. So, Dr. Lewis, you want to take it and explain to us the good and bad and ugly of fats?
There are a lot of good, bad, and ugly, and it's pretty well misunderstood. I gave a talk the other day at Natural Grocers, which we're in Longview very happy to have in Longview because it's just totally organic, non-GMO stuff, which if Longview will shop there, it will become a healthier community. And one lady says, well, what about coconut oil? It's saturated fat, and I've been told saturated fat is bad. Well, yeah, we've heard that too, and you can read all sorts of things on the internet, and that's a lot of good, bad, and ugly there too. Saturated fat actually has turned out to be not nearly as bad or not even bad as it used to be said, and I'm a big proponent of coconut oil, MCT oil, and fish oil, and krill oil, and we'll get into more of that in a minute. But
is it oil, just oil? I mean,
No.
Can't you just walk into the store and grab some fish oil and just be done?
Well, no. There are so many things. Well, they come sometimes from very, very polluted places, and even though we get ours out of Sweden, Norway, and Scandinavia, up in that area, that still needs to be cleaned up somewhat because we are a pretty toxic world, and I'm always recommending people to read different books about the toxins. Therefore, that gives you the reason to supplement beyond what your diet could provide in nutrients, so that your body has enough raw materials to actually detox your body. These detoxes are not like the ones you see on TV. It says, well, you do this for 6 weeks, you'll be young, rich, and good looking. It's like, no, not really. You need to detox every day. So the oils, there's just so many, and it would take maybe a PhD level to really understand it all. But the main ones are EPA and DHA. EPA stands for eicosapentaenoic acid, and the DHA stands for docosahexaenoic acid. The DHA is the main one that helps your body repair its brain, and it has, probably a million other functions too. And they're very anti-inflammatory. So what has happened that's made America and many other countries, as they adopt the standard American diet, SAD, SAD diet, we have gone from the inflammatory omega-9s and much, much lower consumption of the anti-inflammatory omega-3s, and 6s can be good too. The other fatty acids that you need to know about are gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, which is really good for weight loss, and arachidonic acid. And they go through a lot of different chemical processes in the body, and even a good clean fish oil, which Janet will tell you about later, it takes about 2 weeks before all the chemical processes goes through the body to make it anti-inflammatory. I personally think cholesterol has been demonized in a wrong way, and there's a very huge gap in the knowledge that's needed versus the knowledge that's put out. I don't think cholesterol is a bad thing. It can be too high, but in almost all cases it's not. I tell people I don't make medical decisions. I'm a chiropractor and proud of it. But you can read a book called The Cholesterol Hoax, or you can read The Great Cholesterol Myth or The Cholesterol Lie. They're all really good books, and it will kind of give you a better idea of the fats and the importance of cholesterol. Just for example, cholesterol just in the skin is kind of used for a substrate for the production of the precursor to vitamin D. And if you have low cholesterol, you're not going to convert sunlight to vitamin D, and vitamin D is incredibly important. And cholesterol is a component of holding the skin together. So, ladies, the lower your cholesterol, the more you're going to wrinkle. And it's a big component of scar tissue formation during the healing process. And that's why some people that are on drugs that lower their cholesterol, and I'm not making a decision, good, bad, or indifferent about that, but the lower it is, the less you can repair your skin, and wounds don't heal as good. And there's a lot of other factors that are involved in that. Had a lady come in last week, says, well, I don't want to take a statin drug. I said, that's not my decision to make. You need to talk to the doctor that prescribed them. She says, but when I go on them, I get amnesia. I said, well, that's really good that you remember that you got amnesia. She said, can you lower cholesterol naturally? I said, yeah. But, it takes a lot of fiber, and there's a few things that can very, in a healthy way, lower your cholesterol. And cholesterol is not just it's not just a measure of what you're eating, although you need to stay away from the vegetable oils. The corn and canola are very, very bad. Soybean oil, terrible. Cottonseed oil, you got to be kidding me. We use the nut oils. We use a lot of pecan and walnut and grapeseed oil. Olive oil is great if you can get the clean stuff. There's about 80% of that's adulterated. That's a terrible word, isn't it? But I think the quickest, easiest way to get healthy is to take fish oil. Janet puts that in my drink every morning because she loves me, and it makes a huge difference in my memory.
Well, one of the reasons we did this show is because, we're right after Valentine's Day here, so we're working on heart health, and doing a good fish oil is a great way to take care of your heart. But the other part of that is there's so many different forms of fish oil. And me personally, I was taking one that's a really great fish oil, but I've got digestive issues. And I noticed, and I had completely forgot, we carried one that's an MCT oil, and it's on the smaller chain length, which is supposed to be easier digested.
Right.
And it's for people, that have problems with digestion, like they have problems breaking down fats and malabsorption, leaky gut, Crohn's disease, gallbladder impairment, which happens to be me.
Well, most people have digestive issues, too. It's just not always apparent until later.
Or if you've had your gallbladder removed, a lot of people can't do different kinds of fish oils because it gives them diarrhea. But the MCT oil is actually something that they can break down and absorb, and it helps them with weight loss, and it helps with the gut function because it's not having to go through the same I guess Dr. Lewis can explain that better. It doesn't go through the same pathways as the regular fish oil does, and the body can just take it right in and use it for the organs.
I can't explain that. I'm not a chemist, but it makes a huge difference in how I feel. And Janet says, yeah, I know it works because my eyes are not dry anymore. And, the skin, Janet's skin's a lot more moist. And
I've been looking for this. Apparently God has a wicked sense of humor, and he gets me to experience some of these things physically. I told him he could stop any time, but the dry hair and brittle nails and all that kind of thing, which you'd associate with thyroid, except I know it isn't my thyroid, and I do know I have digestive problems, but adding MCT oil in has made a huge difference in how I feel mentally, because I'm not having to do the work in my gut to break down that oil. It's already done.
I was told, I thought, maybe my memory's bad, but I was told that Janet puts the MCT oil and fish oil in my drink for my brain, and then she starts talking about heart. Are you lying to me, honey?
No. I was hoarding it.
Well, I read an article one time about they started demonizing butter in 1953 and started, having us eat margarine or oleo. And there's a lot of heart surgeons now that's saying, well, because of the diet in America with the hydrogenated vegetable oils, that is the major contributor to heart disease. And there's a lot of controversy about that because there's so many different theories about what causes heart disease. And, some people say it's deficiency of fat-soluble vitamins, which would be A, D, and K, plus vitamin E. Some people will say it's refined carbohydrates. Some other researchers say it's trans fatty acids from hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats. Another person says, well, it's excess omega-6s from refined vegetable oils. One of them says oxidized cholesterol and oxidized fats. One says vitamin E deficiency. One says vitamin C deficiency of folic acid, B6, and B12. And there's more and more people learning about the 5-MTHF problem, which is a folic acid. It's a break in our genetics. Heated milk protein, magnesium deficiency, selenium deficiency, microbial agents, viruses or bacteria, thyroid problems, coffee consumption. I very vehemently disagree with that one. Lack of exercise, don't talk about that. You're getting personal now. Exposure to carbon monoxide, and there are research that says, even the fumes from diesel fuel can trigger a heart attack. And one person says it's just changes in the fashions in reporting the cause of death. Those have changed. I think all of them are partially true. I don't think there's one total answer. I think there are a lot of toxins that contribute to it because I read the research, but then there's nutrient deficiencies in our food. And personally, I think the easiest, quickest thing you can do is just take fish oil. But some people genetically handle krill oil much more efficiently than good, clean fish oil. And then Janet came up with this one that's, it's 3 times more absorbable on the EPAs and DHAs. Mm-hmm. And people tell me all the time, well, I take flaxseed oil. I said, well, that's good, but it's not as convertible as the fish oil. You got to let those fish's livers do the work.
Yeah, the product that we have that we're pretty excited about is called Omega Monopure. It's on our website. And basically, the reason one is so excited about it is because it's 3 times more soluble because of the maximally patented lipid absorption and enhancement technology platform, which basically means that you're going to get 3 times more absorption out of it. But with our straight fish oil, where people were having to take 4 of our soft gels a day to lower those triglycerides on their lab, they can now take 1 to 2 of these and it will work.
The fish oil we've been selling for years is good. I've never had a company that's come in and says they can beat it. I've had some that says, well, we can come close, but it's not as clean and pure as yours. And it's like, I know where it comes from.
Yeah, our fish oil is good, and it's a less expensive way. So if cost is a factor, stay with where you are on the omegas. If cost isn't a factor and you want to swallow less pills, the Omega Monopure is a great addition.
It's a little more expensive, but I have people come in and says, well, I was on vacation, ran out of yours, and I bought this brand at the health food store. I said, well, that's a pretty good brand, but it's 50 to 75% the strength of ours, and ours is $35 a month or thereabouts, and yours was $65 for 2/3 of the strength. I said, and that was still a good choice. It's better than running out and just doing without it. So, we're giving good value for the amount of EPA and DHA that's actually in there.
Speaking of DHA, EPA, many people don't know what that means. That's when they're higher that way, they actually will move lab values, like your triglycerides. And we talk about lab values. For those of you that are new to our show, we actually run low-cost lab work, and we do it across the United States. So more more than not, there's a big chance that there is a lab located within several miles of where you live
Right.
that we can send you to, and they draw the lab for us, and then we read it and find out what's nutritionally missing and get the numbers back to optimal. Well, so many times we tell them, yes, your triglycerides are high, and we put you on a fish oil to bring it down. Well, like Dr. Lewis said, genetically, you may do better with one kind of oil versus another. Well, now we have a new test, and it's a brand new test. I'm so excited about it. It's called an omega-3 and 6 fatty acid test, or an omega-3 index. And you can add this on to a lab or have it run by itself, and you can find out if the fish oil you're taking is actually working.
Oh, and that's going to hurt some people's feelings, because some people just want to mentally think, well, I'm throwing it in there, and that's a good thing that you do, but sometimes it's not really what's best for your body.
Right. Sometimes you can't break it down, and sometimes, I know some of the fish oil that's being sold on the market comes out of the Gulf, and they're like tiny Menhaven fish that even the fish down there won't eat. They're so nasty.
Well,
but they're giving them to us with an oil slick going on down there.
You got the surfactant they use to break down the oil, and there seems to be some new problems in health that's arising because of that beautiful Gulf seafood, and we love it. It tastes great, but who knows what's really in it. So, that's why it's really good to supplement, so you have enough of the extra nutrition so your body can work more efficiently to detox. I talked the other day because one lady, had a problem with fish oil, and I don't know exactly what article she was reading, because on the internet you can hear this is good, this is bad, and so many conflicting things, and it's hard to tell what the truth is. And that way this test is going to kind of be the proof in the pudding kind of deal. But I talked the other day about this young man that had some problems and had brain damage, and they healed him with fish oil. And you can hear different interviews from this young man's mother, J.J. Virgin. She gives a very, very good interview about fish oil, and I've seen people that were beginning to have neurodegenerative diseases, and you put them on high amounts of fish oil. Of course, you have to put them on digestive enzymes to make sure that they're digesting and assimilating. And I've seen many neurodegenerative diseases slow down in their progression. Some of them claimed it was even reversed. And, we don't treat diseases, but we just put nutrition in so that your body can do better. We have a wonderful, wonderful body. It has a wisdom that goes way beyond our intellectual knowledge, but it has to have something to work with. And one of the biggest things you can have to get well is the courage to stick with it. And I tell people that if your heart and your discerning spirit says, hey, this is right for me, get on the train and stay on it, because you're going to have bad days. And if you don't have courage, you'll jump right off the train when you're having a bad day. You will still have good days and bad days no matter what you do in life, but it will make fewer bad days, and the bad days won't be as bad, and the good days will be more often and more able to enjoy it and, bless these people. So Janet gives it to me, I thought, for my brain, but maybe it's for my heart, and maybe it's for both. But fish oil is a very, very, very potent anti-inflammatory, and it offsets the inflammatory omega-9s. Anything that's in a package that will last on the shelf for weeks and months at a time is extremely inflammatory, and macaroni and cheese is not a vegetable, folks.
Can you explain to the listeners out there, because you talk about fish oil and people go, oh, God, it's gross, it's fish. So many people say, I take flax oil in place of it. Can you explain the difference between taking flax and taking fish oil, how the body, if it does the same thing in the body?
No, it doesn't really do the same thing. Flax oil is not a bad thing. I've been known to put it into my drink too. I personally like the fiber that comes from it more so. It's not nearly as anti-inflammatory as the fish oil, and it would take somebody with a PhD's knowledge to really understand this. There's all sorts of books. I'm always recommending different books. There's a book called Know Your Fats by Mary Enig, PhD, and I've read it, and I do understand some of it, but frankly, that book is a little over my head. But if you really want to know about fats and understand it, get the book, Know Your Fats. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah, it's a really good thing, but it kind of promotes seeds and fruit oils. And it will tell you how cottonseed oil and those things are not necessarily that good for you. Soybean oil I would never use.
I like seeds like black sesame, cumin, pumpkin, and hemp seeds. They're all good fats, right?
Yeah, grapeseed, walnuts, pecans, almond oil is very, very good. And again, olive oil is good. Should never cook with it because it gets very volatile at lower temperatures. But olive oil is so adulterated. It's kind of a crapshoot out there. If you think you can get a really good one, that's great. But they say about 80% of them are not what they say on the label.
Well, and we always tell people when they ask us about flax or fish oil, many people can't break down the flax and convert it into what it needs to be broke down for the human body to use. So we let the fish do it because the fish has already assimilated it and broke it down to where it needs to be. So all we have to do is take it. So it just kind of takes an extra step out for the human body to have to sort through what to do with it.
And I always think it's good to find somebody you can really trust, because when people say, I'm taking vitamin E, most vitamin E's are not really good. They're synthetic, and most people don't really know that you've got 4 natural tocopherols in vitamin E. That's alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. And a really, really good vitamin E has not just those 4 tocopherols, but it has 4 tocotrienols, which is, the same thing, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Palm oil. Somebody asked me the other night when I was giving a talk at Natural Grocers about palm oil, and I've read some things that's pretty controversial. I personally think it's probably a really good thing because it's higher in the tocotrienols, and it's really, really important in raising the good HDLs and lowering triglycerides. So I throw in a lot of different oils. That's the key. So if one don't do it, the other 2 or 3 probably will.
Right. And, it's just like for weight loss when people are trying to curb their appetite or promote brain health. It's based on carbon links, and the fish oil has a higher carbon link than it, so that's not necessarily the one you use for weight loss, whereas MCT oil has got a shorter carbon link, then that is more what you use for weight loss.
MCT is medium chain triglycerides.
Like
medium
cocoa.
And short is great.
Yeah, it helps with the fat burning process.
Well, and there's the thing. Some people are more vegetarian or vegan, and they don't like to do that. But I think it's good for you. The people that do the so-called bulletproof coffee, people always asking me about that. Well, what if I put butter in my coffee? It's like, well, I personally think it's a good thing, but
does that taste good? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it. I've done it quite a few times, but we usually just use half and half or heavy whipping cream.
We use the ones that are straight from the cow, or that still has the cream on top.
Yeah, organic.
That's my fats.
Organic. Yeah, because, you don't want it from a cow that's been given, the recombinant bovine hormones, growth hormones. So you want to avoid, a lot of dairy is not good for you, but if you get it straight from the cow or the goat, it's a good thing. But I'm real big on omega-3s just because it's good for the brain. I can tell a difference, like when I go on vacation and I don't take a lot of stuff, because I'm not as organized as Janet. And I can tell after about a week to 2 weeks that I don't think as clearly as I used to. And I know, folks, there's genetic testing you can do that'll tell you what's in your future. But if you're not willing to do something about it, don't do the genetic testing because it'll scare the heck out of you. And I don't believe in fear because fear is not from God. But if you know you're willing to do something about it, the 23andMe can tell you lots and lots of good things. And they told me I have dementia in my future. And so we're actively putting a lot of things in to keep my brain functioning. And I can tell a huge difference taking it versus not taking it. And I said, well, yeah, genetically they told me I have dementia in my future. You can look at my 95-year-old mother and say, duh, I could figure that out. And we kept her very, very good mentally up past 90. She did really, really good till 91, 92, something like that. And that's just supplements, and it's because the food's not what it used to be.
Right. And some people say, well, aren't MCT oils and coconut oil the same? Well, MCT oil is a more concentrated source than coconut oil. So it's more used for like appetite reduction and weight loss. It's more used for mind, increased energy levels. It really helps with mitochondrial function.
Means energy.
Yeah, like this helps with atherosclerosis, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune diseases, and epilepsy, actually.
And how many of you have noticed that kids are having more autoimmune diseases and allergies? And again, we don't even treat diseases. We throw in nutrition and let your body take care of itself to the best of its ability. And people say, well, I want to lose weight, and you're telling me to do fat. And I said, well, if you want your body to burn fat, you have to put more fat in it to kind of give it a kickstart, because it's either going to burn glucose or it's going to burn fat. And many of these very highly educated neurologists will put people with the neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, they will put them on a ketogenic diet, which means higher fat, where your body starts burning and breaking down to ketones because it's better for your brain. So, you have a lot of the medical doctors that are very highly educated that are doing more and more of this. It's amazing the people that come to us and say, well, Dr. So-and-so at the hospital said to come here and get this. And I said, well, God bless them. We work together is the point. It's much easier to lose weight if you're taking a lot of coconut oil or MCT oil. Actually, Janet and I do both. And then we do the fish oil on top of it. She's doing the monopure. I do the liquid, just fish oil, just because it's easier to swallow in my drink.
And then I also do borage oil because it's really great for my eyes.
Yeah, after her LASIK surgery, she had dry eyes, and I said, well, the EPA DHA is good, but here's one that has the borage oil in it too, and her eyes cleared up, and they even got better once she started doing this monopure. Mm-hmm. Got even less dry, because that's one of the common side effects of LASIK surgery, although I like it that she had LASIK because she says I'm better looking.
But I can tell when when we have a good fish oil, when it works, because that's the first sign for me is my eyes aren't dry anymore. So I know I'm absorbing what it is that's in it, and that the Omega Monopure is just awesome. I just can't get over the quality they've put into it. They make sure that they're harvesting out of Scandinavia. It's antibiotic-free, non-GMO, certified sustainable. It's just a great product, and it's done in an IFOS certified place, which means it's a 5-star certified to ensure the world's highest standards for purity. So, when you're just going out and buying it over the counter and you're paying less for it, well, that's why. Because no one's verified it's in anything other than they're going to put it in a bottle and sell it to you.
Right. So. And there are a lot of good studies that you can get on the internet and read. You just have to have a lot of discernment about what's good and what's not. The MCT oils are really good, and that and coconut oil is good. It's high in lauric acid. Now, the reason Grandma's chicken soup seemed to help you get over the cold and flu is because, there was a certain amount of lauric acid in it. And lauric acid is real good, antimicrobial, anti-yeast. Well, the MCT in coconut oil is much, much higher in the lauric acid content because of the medium-chain fatty acids.
Helps with flu.
Yeah, well, I took a whole bunch of it when Janet got the flu, and we've been married forever, it seems like. It's been a fun time. But
that could go either direction.
Yeah, I know that just didn't sound good, but it's been a good time, and I've never seen her get the flu is the point. She got it, and it's like, you can take all the supplements in the world, you're still going to get sick, but you get sick less often and less severe. And so I very much increased my intake of lauric acid. And I think I'm genetically a lot weaker than Janet, and I'm certainly plenty older, so should have a weaker body, and I didn't get the flu. And there's studies that go on people that take coconut oil, how it increased the HDLs, or the good cholesterol, and it decreased the LDL-HDL ratio, reduced your waist circumference and abdominal obesity versus the soybean oil. And you can isolate some good nutrients out of soybean, but it's got to be non-GMO. Generally, I wouldn't consume soybean oil. It increased total cholesterol, increased your LDLs, or the bad cholesterol, increased the ratio of LDLs to HDLs, decrease the HDLs. So stay the heck away from soybean oil as much as you can and replace it with the good oils, and you could be much, much healthier because of it.
Like I said, if you're still guessing and you've heard a whole bunch of stuff on here today that you're going, well, I don't even know where to start, that's what we're here for. Go on our website, acutabovenaturals.com. Fill out the health survey. Dr. Lewis is generally the one that calls you and speaks to you about where he would suggest you get started getting better.
Because we have other people that do the work here. I just talk to nice people and have a good time.
Right. He helps you with your health goals. He talks to you free. There's no charge to speak with him. There's no charge to speak to him to go over the lab results. We do it very inexpensively, the lab panels, because we do not involve insurance, and we do it across the United States. So it's time to stop guessing at what you think is wrong with you and what you need for help, and start knowing where to start and knowing when you're taking something that works, because the lab values move. And if you're already taking something you think works, let's look at it and see if it has.
You know, there's the thing. We have to become a nation of doers, not just hearers. We're bad about getting knowledge, but we're not so good at really doing. The people that give us all these 5-star reviews, which we're grateful for, they're the ones that did the work and are consistent. And we have a lot of people that are very consistent that make us look good. They're the ones that did the work. They had the confidence and the courage. So hopefully we've encouraged you. We hope that you have a great day and be blessed.